Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for December 2019. It's a bit late, I know. Sorry about that. I hope you're well, Cancer. This is a general reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Check out also the readings for your other signs. So if Cancer is your sun, for example, check out your moon and rising reading. Sometimes it's really helpful to get a rounded picture for different aspects of ourselves and see what messages apply to each part of me. All right, Cancer, so let's see what's going on with you this month. Sagittarius season and Capricorn season towards the end of the month. Holiday season, it's quite excitement, a lot of excitement for some of us. For some of us, actually, more triggers. Depends on what the story we find ourselves in. All right, so have the Nine of Swords as your current energy. I don't read reverse, so we have Nine of Wands as your challenge. Okay, I think it's all in reverse. We have Temperance as your focus. No, it's not. We have the Star as your advice. We have the Page of Wands as the future energy. And bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles as your underlying energy, the theme of your reading, kind of what you're working with this month, right? Nine of Pentacles. Nice. I think this showed up in the exact same position for Gemini. So if you have Gemini in your chart, check it out. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles. Well, let's pull out the clarifiers. Which one? Okay, actually I want to use the same deck. Put out some clarifiers for these cards here. Nine of Pentacles. Becoming okay with your alone time. Enjoying it, really. It's a very, like, it's the card of independence, in a sense. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're single or you have to be single or things like this. It can apply to both people that are single or in relationships. But it's like celebrating our independence and our self-reliance, being able to rely on ourselves for what's most important for us. Let's see what's this all about. So you have the Fool of the Nine of Swords as your current energy. You have the Justice with the Nine of Wands as your challenge. You have the Six of Pentacles with Temperance as your focus. The Seven of Cups with the Star is your advice. And the Seven of Pentacles as your future energy, along with the Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have the Hanged Man and the World showed up here. Just saw it. Okay. Two sevens right here and two nines. Interesting. Three nines. Reaching mastery, like you're really, really close. You're really, really close. Yeah, so with the Nine of Pentacles, what follows after Nine of Pentacles? Ten of Pentacles, which is the card of abundance, the card of legacy, the card of mm, the core of your family, but in a sense of like, what is it that you're learning from your past, from your family, but also what is it that you're leaving behind. But it's a very harmonious card. Anyhow, your card is the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like in order for us to enjoy that abundance and harmony with others, we need to learn to do that with ourselves first. And you may need to take some time with this, with the Hanged Man here, and change maybe your perspective a little bit about what does it mean, this alone time? How do you celebrate it? What's the relationship with yourself? It may be that this becomes also a comfort zone. Is it maybe, am I being too comfortable being just alone and giving out the I don't know, the sense to other people that I don't want anyone around me? It's fine that we don't need anyone, but people might not want to be more welcomed around in your garden. But this lady here, she's quite badass. She's been working really hard to amass this fortune here and to build up this garden. It's not something that it was offered or given to her. So it's important with this card always to celebrate our hard work that we've put in. It's also very important to recognize what we've tamed, what we've had to train, in a sense of like, okay, in order to work so hard, in order to get where you at, you had to suppress maybe some things. See this bird here? The training that involves taming a bird in this way, it's blindfoldedness, um, keeping it hungry and eating it only from you, and so on, so on, so on. So it's quite a harsh discipline to train this type of bird. And I think that the warning with this card is that, okay, yeah, we had to do this in order to get here, but maybe now it's time to create a different relationship with these aspects of ourselves that we didn't know what to do with. Our impulses, our inner child, our dark side, our fears, whatever stayed in your way. There's also the snail here, which talks about the uh, timing and divine timing, really. It's really understanding how to use time. When it's time to celebrate, when is it time to work, when is it time to plant seeds, when is it time to reap your rewards. And this is going towards the end of the reading. You're obviously learning about this. And the Hangman talks about a heart opening. The Hangman talks about opening up towards more than just the self. Is opening up towards an extension of the self, which can mean family, which can mean friends, which can mean connecting to the world at large, connecting to what binds us rather than what divides us, which is love. The hangman can signify sacrifice, but that's this sacrifice of really what we're sacrificing is the ego, the perception that we are the center of the universe. Maybe I am the center of my own world, that's fine, and I can recognize that and I can work with this, but it is very important to understand that my world can expand to include others. I hope that makes sense to someone, because I don't know why it took this turn. It took a quite an intense turn there for a moment. Anyhow, it's really good energy. It's you're opening yourself up for the next level, which is connecting with your extended family. That 10 of Pentacles, yeah. It's also helping you relax a little bit into your with your senses, with your um with your feminine energy. See, she's wearing these fine silks and she has all this like Venus sign on her. She's really like, you know what, take yourself out on a date. Take yourself out on a date. I don't know necessarily with somebody else, but it can be just with you. Do something that you really enjoy. Spend time with yourself. Celebrate that you are where you are. By giving this time for you with you and recognizing all this, it helps that heart to open in order to include more into your world. And paradoxically, it's not going to feel like you spend less time with yourself or you're abandoning yourself, because if you do this from that place of heart opening, you actually end up like feeling even more intimate with yourself, more connected. Because I know this is, it's really hard to put this into rational words, but we are all one in a sense. We are all connected. We are interdependent. We are not an island. And this lady is something that she knows somewhere there, but she still needs to confront the part of her that just maybe wants to stay out into this garden and not go out into the world. All good though, all good. So we have Nine of Swords with the Fool as your current energy. Nine of Swords talks about fears, talks about suppressed thoughts, talks about anxiety, and it's usually related to the future. And it's usually anxiety also with the next card, which is the Ten of Swords, which is the death of ego. It is not really that your ego is really dying. It's more like you retire a persona that you created in order to help you cope with certain situations. So you're retiring some type of pattern or of behavior pattern that you've been using as a coping mechanism that doesn't serve you any longer, but rather works against you. That's what the Ten of Swords really is. And but that can feel really scary for that part of me that holds on to those patterns or to those behavioral types that we employ when we feel defenseless without them. You know, we feel like the part of me that needed them in the first place isn't can't cope without them. But as we learn to have faith with the Fool in ourselves, as we learn to have faith in our inner process, as we learn to have faith in the fact that this growth, you're at 9 here, like we're talking serious growth here. It's not just you're not in the initial stages of this journey, okay? Whatever this cycle is for you, and however long it was, it may be for a month, it may be for a year, it may be for much longer than that. But this particular mental cycle also is coming to an end, and the mind brings a lot of resistance. This is where the Nine of Swords, this guy looks like terrified here. He doesn't want to go through this. He can't sleep at night. He's afraid of the anticipated death of ego, of the challenges that may come, of whatever is trying to, the mind is trying so hard to come up with solutions so that we don't need to experience any type of pain or loss or anything of the sort, rejection, whatever it is that this anxiety brings for you. But with the Fool here, it's pretty clear that what you are, your experiences to different parts of yourself, this old part of the mind which is slowly becoming obsolete, and it doesn't work properly anymore. It doesn't really help, it's not helpful anymore, versus this innocent inner you that's coming, is very pure. That part of you that's really, really pure and very, very honest, very joyful for the adventure, very curious, very very light, that's not carrying so much. It doesn't carry much of a baggage here. See, he has the pure heart, the purity of the heart is symbolized by this white rose here, or I think it's a rose. And see, he's not carrying any luggage, and the sun is like illuminating his path, and the dog here is like acting as a guardian for him. He's safe, he's connected, he's protected, and he knows that whatever move he's making, he is meant to have that type of experience. He's okay with whatever happens. He doesn't have a worry in the world. And this person is very worried here because he's taking that leap of faith. That's what the Fool talks about. And I'm going to pull out a clarifier for these two. What is it that you're worrying so much about here? Well, I already sketched on that, but why are the Nine of Swords and the Fool here? It's your current energy. It's at the root of this. Okay, it's just quite a lot. Exactly. You're terrified of the coming of this ten of Swords, yes. Have the Wheel of Fortune here. Also the Lovers. See what we were talking earlier, what I was talking earlier about this lady being comfortable, being single, being very comfortable in her alone time. With the Lovers here in my show, like explaining this too, that, you know, time for connection with others is coming. And there's a big change coming in your life, especially like, you know, this Ten of Swords coming in to end this cycle. There's the wheel turning with the Wheel of Fortune. And with the Lovers, it opens up connection to what we love. And that doesn't necessarily mean with a person, even though that can be. But connecting with something outside of ourselves. It can be a project that we really love, something that we really put our energy into. But it can also mean a person being open enough for a relationship, creating space for somebody to come in, feeling comfortable that it's okay to share some of that garden, or you don't need to be in that garden forever. That's what there's anxiety about it, because you need to go for this Ten of Swords, which is the death of that part of you that's holding you back, which is that habit or that behavior pattern, or that type of reaction you always employ when you're triggered about love, about change, and about faith. And with the Nine of Wands and with the Justice here, well, it makes sense that you're, you know, Nine of Wands is also a 9, and the 10 is coming, which is also quite a heavy energy. That's literally heavy. It depicts a dude that's carrying all these wands in his back, going towards a town, I suppose, or I don't remember exactly what he was going towards. I think it was a town, castle, something. Anyhow, this guy here, he's like the wounded warrior, you know. He's fencing up. He's a little bit like fearful what's coming. He's been fighting for so long. It shows that there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, because he's been through many wars. But at the same time, he can also become overly defensive, and he can also become overly anticipating. Maybe, you know, goes hand in hand with all that anxiety. Was it coming at me? Was it coming at me? And with Justice, you may fear maybe also some type of karmic retribution, which, by the way, I don't believe in such thing as karmic retribution. What we are experiencing, it's something that we have to learn from. It's not coming as a punishment. We learn from experience, and when we come into this world as souls, we are having a human experience, and we decide as souls what type of, in which direction does my soul wants to grow, and we sign up for this. Also, like past life regressions and karmic issues from the past that need to be resolved. Yes, of course, there's that. There's healing that's being brought into, like maybe you've been holding this energy not for one lifetime but for 20, and it shows up in certain parts of your journey, you know. And when we're doing some deep healings, when we're doing like such a 10 of this sort, I take it so much as a zoom out because of the justice here. I think it's important. It does not always, it can also mean more trivial stuff. But in this case, and also with the lovers and the Wheel of Fortune, this is pretty big. So I think that you're shedding off a skin that you've been carrying on your soul for far too long, for many, many, many lifetimes. And it's challenging because it you have resistance to this. It's an energy that's very familiar. We hold on to the familiar. You know, it takes a lot of work to build this type of independence. But you're not meant to stay there forever. You can let down the shields and allow people in. You're not meant to be alone. And even if you're in relationships already and you have friends and you are in romantically engaged and you maybe have children and so on, see how you relate to these people in your life. Are you really showing much of yourself? Or are you keeping everyone at arm's length? How much are you giving? How much are you taking? These are things that are being illuminated here, and I think you're not being particularly open. See this 9, yeah, well, she's here having a beautiful garden, but she's also kind of fenced up here. She needed strong boundaries. Fantastic, but she's not meant to just be there. We are meant, especially with the Hangman here, to grow to that place where here we're going towards service, towards connection with the rest of the world. We're not islands. This keeps coming back. You're not an island. You're not an island, Cancer. We're in Sagittarius season as I'm doing this reading, so Temperance shows up, which is the Alchemist, which is the using that fire energy of the Sagittarius to really balance out, temper your emotions, temper your, but you know that it sounds a little bit like, how is it, it's not that like temper out your stuff in that boring way. No, temperance talks also about being curious, being really curious. What happens when you do this? What happens if I put the water from this cup to this cup? Is it gonna fall? Is it gonna go into this cup? How do I like it more? Do I like it more how it is from here, how it is from here? I mean, like, this is very silly explanation, but my point is that it can be doing chemistry, chemical reactions and looking for the results, putting a little bit of this, putting a little bit of that, doing something different, especially as you come out from this really old pattern that's been with you for a while, that you're finally shedding off right now, of the temperance. You can really regulate this process. And look also with the scale here and the scale here. There's a lot of balancing out. It's a balancing out that's happening here. And with the Six of Pentacles, also of your focus, you can focus now on how to bring this heart opening that's happening, and how can you bring this trust from the Fool into the way you relate with other people. Having trust in yourself and in your own kind nature, but also having trust in other people. If I am helping someone else out, I'm helping only because I have enough, and it's okay. I'm not superior in any way. I'm not looking down to these people. I'm helping because I have. And the balance here shows that I can give only as much as I can give. I cannot give too much. If this person gives everything he has, then he's going to be, he has nothing for himself, and he's gonna just end up, maybe it will be his turn to receive, of course, but that's not the point. The point is to be able to give as much as I can, so I have enough for myself too. If I overgive, I drain myself, and then I end up in resentment. And if I don't give enough, then, that's always like when balancing is needed, it goes both ways, actually. It never is, I'm just an overgiver. I'm an overgiver of something because I can't give something else. Maybe I overgive, I don't know, time for certain activities just because I can't give, say I'm a good counselor, for example, and here I am giving a lot of like listening time and being here with you, really holding space for you and shit. But that's because I can't really do that for myself, and I feel terrified of you looking at me. So here I am putting all the attention on you again and again and again. Then I may feel at some point that I'm giving too much, and then I never get the attention, but that's because I created a situation. And the other person too, I mean, like it's obviously that there's a need and so on there. But with the Six of Pentacles, you're really working with this, and with the Temperance especially as your focus. Put your focus on this. See how you can work with this with curiosity. Be curious about this. Notice how you show up, and do that from a place of like compassion with yourself, with the other people involved in these dynamics, whatever the dynamics is, whether it's, again, love life, whether it's family, whether it's like potential friends or actual friends and so on. Yeah. Curiosity is the best energy there is, because it can enable us to be present, and also it can bring so much information. Of course, like sometimes we can do mistakes and be like, okay, like starting all new when we feel so unfamiliar and maybe vulnerable. We are like, okay, now what do I do with all this? So let's put it all in this one cup. I spilled some, or I lost some. Well, I'm getting down here, I'm getting more, and I'll see what I can do with that. It's really, it's great. It's moving in a new direction and trying something new. And this looks a lot like having to come out more of yourself and show more of yourself and connect with people from a really balanced place of give and take. And yes, your advice is the Star with the Seven of Cups. So the Star talks about healing, talks about there's a lot of emotional healing here. really learning how to tap into your emotions, really learning how to bear your emotions. The star is the water bearer, right? And learning to feel into your emotions. The sevens talk about taking stock and about assessment, feeling through your emotions and understanding by using your emotion as your compass. What is it that you really need to do? What do you need in this moment? What does your inner child need? What does your um, whichever part of you is acting out, what does it need? What does this fearful side of you that's terrified of what's coming, that's terrified of like letting his guard down, what does it need to relax a little bit? You're really guided to bring in some healing into your emotional side, this part of you that feels the need to fence up like this. Not to say that it's okay to be an individual. It's okay to have your individualistic side and your independence. Perfectly fine. Just don't isolate yourself, you know. And the Seven of Cups also talks a lot about feeling into your intuition. This person doesn't need to think and to look at this cup to understand which cup is the right for him. He needs to simply feel. As he will feel into his intuition, into his emotion, he will get drawn to the cup that's right for him. And this talks also about the physical reality, is a seven. So have a look at how your emotions are being perceived in the physical world. What is the what do you end up doing because of your emotions? What are your reactions because of your emotions? What are the where do you hold yourself away because I don't know, fear of rejection or fear of something, fear of losing that independence? It can also mean like doing somatic practices and really feeling your emotions in your body. With the star here also is like it's healing work, and emotions and physical. It's like really feeling through your body, do breath work, do the whatever tools you have at your disposal, or be curious about that maybe. Check out whatever resources are around you and what you can tap into to help yourself make sense out of your emotions and release some of that heavy baggage you've been carrying. See, the fool doesn't have any baggage. And that's taking you in this beautiful place of the Page of Wands where you have an excitement and where you notice, see, and it's also it's growth, it's going up in the suit. The Page of Wands is like a child growing and starting observing the things around him, the tools, and he starts to understand how they work and gets excited and super adventurous and very curious of to explore more and discover more and experience more. And the Seven of Pentacles is a very again assessment energy, taking stock. What am I putting in? What does come out? Where am I putting my energy in? How am I spending my time? Where am I spending my money? Who am I going out with? Maybe I need so much independence because I'm surrounded by people that I don't feel very connected with. Maybe people that have been entertaining an old version of myself that I have to put up again and again and again. Maybe I'm learning to maybe distance myself a little bit from certain relationships that I need to show up in a certain way, maybe a part of me that doesn't serve me anymore. And those people either can accept that you don't want to carry that type of pattern, dynamics, persona, whatever, or they can also understand. I mean, like they can roll with that, and they can feel inspired and so on, or they can also take their own distance and so on. I don't know why that came out, to be honest, with the Seven of Pentacles, but it did, so it must make sense to someone out there. So yeah, it was about taking stocks, about how you're spending your time as well. So it's very investigative energy, but also very, very enthusiastic, very curious, very open. And as you learn what nurtures you, as you learn what is it that you can also have to do with what you eat, your diet, and so on. As you learn what nurtures you, you allow yourself to really grow, just like children grow when they're nurtured and they're loved and they have all what they need. They just grow naturally, and allow that type of natural transformation that comes with just nurturing the passing of time. It's happening, baby. Let's see, what do we have here from Rumi for you? This looks more and more like a love reading. The Lover and the Beloved. It's called, and it's number 35. Let's see, what else they say? All right, so where are you? There you are. The poem from Rumi says, when you move beyond consciousness, you caress the beloved. When you move into the unknown, beyond everything, the beloved caresses you. Move beyond everything. Move beyond your garden of comfort zone as well. Move beyond this fear that's been blocking you. Move beyond this ego trap that you found yourself in. Move beyond completely. Look at the Fool. 0. It's number 0. It's a completely new path, a completely new, it's a new opening, a new cycle. With the Wheel of Fortune, definitely a new cycle. And with the Lover, it's the way you relate from love, with love, for love. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna read it all because it seems to be very relevant, even though it's a bit long. O sweet beloved, the divine, the great beloved, has a passionate desire for you, to love you, to touch you, to make the divine presence known to you, so that you will cease to fear the darkness, take delight in all of life, and become mesmerized by the beauty of love in its endless emanations. But how will we resist love at first? There we are. Yeah, we just talked about this recently. All these cards are cards of resistance. Of love. Okay, so, but how we resist love at first? Oh yes, we have been burned before, have we not? Talking about the wounded warrior. Abandoned, betrayed, so painfully disappointed, cast aside, and have suffered at the hands of some unworthy lover. Can this great divine love affair be tarred with the same brush, with the same bitter expectations that keep the heart closed? That's why you're opening your heart. Sorry. uh, sorry. I'm surprised that someone inner child comes out like that. Okay. Can this great divine love affair be taught with the same brush, with the same blah blah blah? You are too beautiful to be hidden away behind a bitter and gated heart that is unworthy of you. Yes, thank you, Romy. That's exactly what I was saying. So then, can you allow the great beloved to reach for you, to receive that sacred touch every day, to be spoken to with words of love, to receive? You who give of yourself, can you recognize the beloved wishes to give to you too? We're talking exactly about this as well, right here. These need not what? These need not be mutually exclusive happenings. Come now. I'm talking about being spoken with words of love to be able to receive and so on. Come now. Deep down, you know the genius of the divine is such that in being received, much is given. You shall not be selfish in letting yourself be seen and loved. Allow it. Rejoice in it. Take delight in allowing yourself to receive love and let the world soak up the ardent glow of your sensual surrender into the great beloved's embrace. This oracle brings your message. Something has to change in your physical world. Yes, yes, yes. And here, this is where you're finding that out. So something has to change in your physical world. You are in need of more sustenance, more love, more connection, and more nourishment that touches your body and soul and brings them into deeper oneness with each other, with life, with love. There you open up and allow that love in. The great beloved has desired that this be so. Will you heed that holy desire? Will you allow love in? Say yes. If you find this difficult, now is the time to gently, carefully tend to the walls you once placed between yourself and life. Walls of tentativeness, excessive caution, fear of abandonment and betrayal, doubt of your own lovableness, and doubts based on past pain without substance. You are so much greater than these crumbling walls. They are the stuff that is designed for demolition, not devotion and honoring. Can you begin to unpack the bricks you mistakenly believed here essential to your safety and well-being? You are too vast a sea for that small puddle of thought now. The oceanic world of love is your true home and the sun is beating down upon you. It is too hot to gaze at the ocean longingly from afar or even stand by the edge. Strip off your layers, run into the ocean and dive in. This oracle brings you special guidance. An offer or opportunity is on its way to you or has recently been presented. It may be an idea you have been nurturing or one presented to you by another person. Sit with it. Do you feel the exhilaration? Do you feel this? Do you feel the exhilaration? Do you feel energy at the thought of saying yes? Then say yes. Allow yourself to receive. There is divine encouragement in taking risks that feel wild and alive to your heart. Well, that encompasses it all. Thank you so much, Rumi. And thank you, Cancer, for being here. I hope this reading makes sense to you. If it does, and if you resonate with it, please like, share, and subscribe so my channel can grow and more people like you can benefit from these readings. And I wish you have an amazing holiday season and a happy new year. And yeah, I'll see you here soon.